Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 12-game NBA main slate on Tuesday. Good to be back after the day off. Again, day off today because the national championship for college basketball. Not really sure what to do with myself today, so I was like, oh, let me just upload a video with no NBA. I'm like, well, what is there to do in life? But yeah, we got 12 games to talk about. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the channel. My name's DK. I do make content for Draftkings, for NBA Top Shot, and for Prize Picks. The sponsor of this video is Prize Picks, which is a player prop site. They offer a ton of different sports, a ton of different ways you can play. So if you guys want to give it a try, you can sign up and use my code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. So that's basically free $100 to play with on the site. And if you're looking for more in-depth content for DFS, I do offer that on patreon.com. We've had a really, really good last week or so. And I will be offering USFL content once DraftKings posts some stuff there. Going to be covering that as well. Also cover esports in the gold package. So if that's something that interests you, you can check out my Patreon, which is linked down below. But really quick, let's go around up here from last night. So last night, I think I got a little bit too cute here. So I had a core of Trey Jones, Zach Collins, JaVale McGee, and Jordan Poole. I ended up personally fading Trey Jones because I wanted to stack up, like full stack the Minnesota-Houston game, which I had the right idea, right? The game was a shootout, 139 to 132. But I just think, fading Trey Jones to allow him to get to a low on Kevin Porter Jr. probably wasn't worth it, right? Had I stuck with Trey Jones here. I went to a low on Garrison Matthews. I didn't really want to play him, but I just needed a cheap small forward, so I think I got a little bit too cute there. I should have eaten the Trey Jones chalk, which, again, probably made a slight mistake there, trying to get too much exposure to the Minnesota-Houston game. But, yeah, so Poole, Russell, Matthews, Toppin, McGee, KPJ, Collins, and Towns was my build. Okay, so let's move on to this 12-game slate. Obviously, a lot to talk about. First game here is Philadelphia and Indiana. So, Joel Embiid, 12K, I think it looks good. I mean, if this game stays competitive, he is going to absolutely feast against this front court. Whether Goga plays or it's Isaiah Jackson or Jalen Smith, whoever they try to throw on him, Embiid should be able to dominate. So, I think he looks like one of the best spin-ups on the slate. I think Harden's kind of just there at 10-4. I would rather go to Embiid. I think his upside is a lot higher. And then Maxey and Tobias Harris also kind of just secondary options. I don't think it's necessary in this 12-game slate. On the Pacers side, so Brogdon's not going to play the rest of the season. The Havlicek list is questionable. He's not going to play. Goga got injured last game. We'll see about his status. So the Pacers still have bigs, though. Like, they can still use Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith and Terry Taylor. So they still have a good chunk of bigs. Like, sure, you consider Halliburton Heel for contrarian plays. Halliburton had a massive game last game. He's going to play big minutes. O'Shea Brissett has played well of late, but his price is up. So not a lot I like on the Pacers side. You also might have T.J. McConnell back. I don't know why he would play in the last couple games, but I guess there's a chance he might return. Cleveland and Orlando, good spot here. Garland, 9-6, going to play big minutes. Feels a little bit pricey, but I think he's fine contrarian play. LeVert's price is up, so again, 7K feels about right now for the amount of minutes he's playing. Love's minutes have been all over the place. He's a fine tournament play, but they have really prioritized Moses Brown minutes at 4.8, who, if he stays out of foul trouble, probably sees 25 to 30 minutes. I think he's a decent value play. Right? He got some foul trouble against Embiid, which we kind of expected. Don't know if I get to any of the other value plays. Chetty barely played last game. Like, he is a productive player, but right now he's just not really getting the minutes for Cleveland. On the Orlando side, so keep an eye. We got Cole Anthony, Wagner, and Jalen Suggs all questionable. If they all miss, there's some guys in consideration. So Mo Bamba did play 29 minutes last game. It was a massive blowout, but like, he will be productive when he's in the court. If we get around 30 minutes from Bamba, I'm intrigued by him for tournaments. Okiki's been awful at 4.8K, but I would assume he plays probably mid-20s minutes. Markelle Fultz, they're really not, giving him a minutes bump, so just a tournament option. He'll be productive when he's on the court. Mo Wagner, the guy that if the game blows out, probably gets extended a little bit like last game, so he obviously has a ceiling. RJ Hampton has been awful, absolutely awful for the Magic. Even with Cole Anthony going down, 9 fancy points in 28 minutes. I mean, how is it even possible? Brazdeikis played huge minutes. I guess he's a fair value play if those guys are out. If you get like 37 minutes again. And then you have guys like Lopez. I don't want to play him. You're going to see Canada, whatever, how you pronounce his name, and Down probably in the rotation, but don't think I can get to those guys. Houston and Brooklyn. So this game does have some upside if it can stay competitive. Obviously, there's a little bit of blowout risk, but the main guys in KPJ, Green, and Sengun, I think all look pretty good here. Kevin Porter Jr. just going to have the ball in his hands a ton, going to play huge minutes. So I think he's a good tournament option. I do think Jalen Green's a good tournament option too. He's probably going to shoot like 20 plus times. He's been shooting the ball a lot better of late as well. So the two guards I have some interest in. And then Sengun, my boy, the price went down. He played 33 minutes. I think he's a pretty good option here. Does have power forward eligibility as well. So I like all the Houston guys. Sengun probably the easiest to get to. Jayshawn Tate, the frustrating thing is the minutes. There's no real minutes upside with him and KJ Martin kind of splitting time. Christopher had a massive game last game, but he also shot 11 to 14, so it kind of feels like a chase if you go there. Again, Garrison Matthews, he's going to play big minutes, but he has to hit shots to get value, so he's in play for salary relief, but does have a very low floor if he's not making his shots. On the Brooklyn side, so KD, Kyrie, both are viable here in a great matchup if you think the game can stay competitive. You do have to factor in the chance, though, that the Nets just blow out Houston. But, yeah, both those guys obviously have the ceiling. Drummond, we finally saw his minutes go back down to only 18. I still think he has the ceiling here. I do think the ownership will drop. But, again, with him, the minutes are kind of all over the place. We do have Bruce Brown back. So, thankfully, we don't really have to consider the likes of Patty Mills. You know what's going to happen, too, is Patty Mills. He's going to play, like, 20 minutes off the bench, and he's going to shoot, like, 8 of 8 just to troll everyone. Like you just know what's going to happen after his massive chalk and shot 0 of 7 last game. Bruce Brown himself at 5'3", I guess it's fine. Like he should play over 30 minutes if this game stays competitive. Again, with Dragic out, if Seth Curry's out too, I mean Mills will probably play minutes, but I don't know if I can do it on the slate. So again, knowing what happened last game, you know he's just going to troll everyone and go off tomorrow. Charlotte and Miami. I mean, Charlotte wants to win games, but this is an awful matchup. So, and you do have Gordon Hayward back. So, LaMelo, Bridges, Rozier, all fine tournament plays. There's no standouts here. On the Miami side, Jimmy Butler is in fact in, but now we have Lowry questionable. It seems like every day someone's like questionable on the Miami side. You also have a lot of value pieces that are questionable. Like if all these guys are out, you can look to like Markieff Morris or Max Struss. So a little bit hard to say since Miami just lists half their team on the injury report every single day. But like if Lowry's out, like whoever starts at the point would look pretty good. I don't know if they move Hero in the starting lineup. Gabe Vincent possibly if he plays. Bam and Jimmy, I mean, it's a great matchup. So I think both those guys played big minutes. The only issue is, again, Miami's a pretty balanced team. Atlanta and Toronto, so tougher matchup here, but Trae Young's going to play huge minutes. I think he has a ceiling, obviously, for tournaments. Unless I play him, he will never, ever shoot well when I play him. Clint Capella at 6.5K, he's going to play around 30 minutes. Decent rebounder, good shot blocker. I think he's a fair play in the mid-range. Bogdanovich has been questionable last couple games. I expect him to play. If he plays, there's nothing else that really stands out here on the Atlanta side. On the Toronto side, so OG questionable. If OG Anunoby can't go, then, probably a slight minutes bump for like Boucher and Achua and Thad Young, but don't know if it'll be necessary to go to any of those guys. I think Siakam and Van Fleet probably look the best. These are two guys that should play over 40 minutes. We've been seeing consistently 40-plus minutes for Siakam. Van Fleet's been playing big minutes as well. So those two, I think, look like the easiest to get to. Scotty Barnes feels a little bit pricey. Gary Trent Jr. does have a ceiling, but also pretty score independent. Has played 40 and 43 minutes over the last couple games, though, for what it's worth. And then, if I had to take a shot at someone, it would be Boucher and just hope he plays like closer to that 30-minute mark. No guarantee in that, right? He only played 22 last game, but we've seen when the minutes are there for Boucher, he's a guy that can produce. Milwaukee and Chicago. So, good matchup here for the Bucks. I think Giannis looks like a very safe play. Had a tough game there against Dallas in 40 minutes, only went for 47 fantasy points. Kind of outlier in a bad direction, but right now he's playing huge minutes for the team, and this is a good spot. So, I think Giannis makes her a very, very safe spend up. Drew, Middleton, they both feel priced about right. Bobby Portis has been a little bit more off the bench, but still too pricey. Brooke Lopez, still tilted about that from a couple games ago. I'll mention Grayson Allen coming out the bench. I would assume mid-20s minutes, but I think there's going to be better value that opens up throughout the day. On the Chicago side, Chicago also wants to win games right now. The big three, DeRozan, Vooch, and LaVine, all in play for tournaments. As you know, it's based on my same analysis. When these guys are healthy, probably one of those guys is a good game. Good luck trying to figure out which one's going to be. DeRozan's been the most consistent, but LaVine and Vucevic also like $1,000 cheaper. So all three in play. No standouts, though, for me. Caruso's been losing a little bit of minutes of late. I will mention Patrick Williams has played very well the last couple games, 37 and 30 minutes. I think he's a fair value play. I think he's kind of, had a couple outlier games. Like I wouldn't expect Patrick Williams to play this well and average like a fancy point per minute. But at 3.8K, I do think he's viable for some salary relief. All right, Washington, Minnesota. Another game that I think has a pretty high ceiling. Should be very little defense played in this game if it can stay competitive. So if it can stay close. So Kristaps Porzingis, 8.9. I don't think many people play him after a bad game last game, but we know the ceiling is there. He's not going to play huge minutes, probably 30 to 32. But he can definitely still go for 50 plus. So like Porzingis in tournaments. KCP, too pricey. Denny, Rui splitting the minutes. Both just seem priced about right. Satoransky's 4.6. Again, his minutes last game was the blowout. Viable value, I would assume more often than not. He plays in mid-20s minutes. Kittsburgh's going to play big minutes, but not be productive. Gafford will play the backup 5. If Porzingis gets in foul trouble, he could have a good game. But yeah, outside of Porzingis, there's nothing that I love. On the Minnesota side, we did get news that Patrick Beverley is, in fact, in. So downgrade D'Angelo Russell, downgrade Malik Beasley. But yeah, it's a great spot. So the big three, Cat, Edwards, and D'Lo, all in play. I expect all three of those guys to play mid-30s minutes. So like the upset in all three. They all had a massive game last game. This was against Houston. And again, this is a pretty good spot too. So the big three I like. I think Patrick Beverley is a pretty safe play. He should play 25 to 30 minutes. Malik Beasley probably shifts to the bench role, so he becomes a little bit riskier. I would still assume we get around 20 minutes from him. If the game blows out, maybe you can consider a guy like Naz Reid, who's productive when he's on the court, but more often than not going to hover in that 12 to 15 minute range unless the game blows out or Cat gets in foul trouble. Portland, Oklahoma City. Portland running a pretty deep rotation right now, so hard to really feel good about anyone. It is a good matchup. Last time these two teams played, it went to overtime. But, a little bit of a different situation. Both teams last time had like 8-man rotations. Both teams have a little bit of deeper rotations now. So, Eubanks probably plays low 30s minutes. He's in play for tournaments. But outside of that, there's nothing I love. Like, if you feel really good about one of these value plays, you want to play like a Chris Dunn in like 25 minutes, I think that's fine. If you want to look like a Greg Brown at 4.4, he's been playing mid-20s minutes. I think it's okay. Just a lot of guys look similar. Reggie Perry will play the backup 5. Like, he'll be productive, but not going to play huge minutes. So there's nothing that really stands out on the Portland side. And the Thunder side, so they will have 9 active players. So and Trey Mann is out, right? So Maledon 1, Roby 2, Buckshevsky 3, Wiggins 4, Waters 5, Vitz 6, Ford 7, Sar 8, Robinson Earl 9. So you saw the minutes tick down for the likes of like Maledon and for Roby. Sure, the game blew out, but they weren't on pace for big minutes either way. So those two, again, viable for tournaments. I think Pokusevsky, he played the most, played 36 minutes. Maybe your safest bet, but all three of Maledon, Pokusevsky, Roby are still viable. They're just not, they don't look as good with 9 guys available to play. Wiggins at 5K had a good game last game, but he really hasn't been playing huge minutes, so a little bit hard for me to pay that salary. I think Vid at 4.6 looks okay because right now he's just playing really big minutes, 35, 41, and 37. So he's probably your safest value option. Ford's minutes went way down. Sar played it really well last game. I think we get around like 20 to 25 minutes from him. Makes him a viable value. And then Jerry, right now they're taking it easy on his minutes, so don't think I can play him because he's kind of capped at that 15-minute mark. San Antonio and Denver. So DeJounte Murray already confirmed out. The first guy that stands out, obviously, is Trey Jones, 4K. He's going to start, probably play around 30 minutes. So I think he makes her a very, very safe value play there at 4K. And then the likes of like Keldon and Pirtle and Vassell and Richardson all look solid. They're going to have a lot more usage with DeJounte Murray off the court. So those guys are all like viable. You could add Lonnie Walker possibly to that mix as well, but no standouts for me. On the Denver side, it's a great matchup. Jokic obviously looks great at the top. He's going to play mid-30s minutes. He's gone for 70-plus the last 5 games, which is absolutely insane. So, yeah, Jokic looks good at the top. And the mid-range guys have been playing a lot more, too. So, Gordon, Barton, Morris have been consistently playing like 35-ish minutes. So, if you want to land on one of those guys, I don't think it's the worst idea in a great matchup. So, yeah, Gordon, Barton, Morris, definitely more in play of late. And Bones Highland's been playing a good chunk more recently, 27, 29, and 27. So, I even think he's in play at 5.1. I'll mention Boogie Cousins. He's super cheap. So you have a couple different ways you could really have a ceiling game. Number 1, you get Jokic foul trouble. Number 2, you get the game blowing out, which is possible. So if either of those things happen, Boogie can break his slate at 3-4. He's going to be in the rotation. He's going to play the backup 5. And if something happens to Jokic or the game blows out, again, he can absolutely crush that 3.4K salary. Memphis and Utah. So I assume the main guy's going to be back in Bane, Triple J, Jones, and Adams. And assuming that is the case, it's only John Morant that is out. So in a tougher spot against Utah, I don't know if there's any standouts to me. I think the main guys all look okay. Probably my favorite option would be Tyus Jones, so I think still plays 30 to 35 minutes in a competitive game. But all the main guys just kind of look okay, and I don't think I get to any of the value. Some of these guys priced up from what all those guys missed. So right now I'm assuming all those guys play, so not a lot of standouts on the Memphis side. On the Utah side, Mitchell, Gobert, I think both are very safe plays. Good matchup. Mitchell's going to play big minutes as well as Gobert. Gobert has played a good chunk more over the last few games, 37, 38, 36, and 38. They've been limiting the minutes either whether it be Monroe backing up or as Whiteside last game. So Gobert has played a lot more. So 8.1K, I do think he's a very, very safe play at the center position. And then mid-range options, I'll mention Mike Conley too, where he played 36 minutes last game in regulation. So not saying we're going to get that again, but if we consistently get over 30 minutes from Mike Conley, I think he's playable. Bojan Bogdanovic is 5K. He played 31 minutes. I think he's a fine option. Kind of score independent, but his minutes have ticked up since that most recent game. New Orleans and Sacramento. So New Orleans was pretty disappointing last game on the main slate, but this is a nice bounce back spot here against Sacramento. The main three guys in CJ, JV, and Ingram all look good. JV got his minutes slashed last game. He wasn't really in foul trouble. They just didn't go with him. So I don't think that happens again. I think that's more of an outlier. So would expect big minutes from CJ, JV, and Ingram all in a great matchup. So all three I think look pretty good. I don't know if I get to any of the values though with Herbert Jones or Jackson Hayes. Like Larry Nance will probably, again, he got a good minutes bump with JV kind of getting limited. So I think more often than not, though, he's hovering in that 15 to 20 minute range, which is fine, but there's probably going to be other value that opens up. On the Sacramento side, don't expect to see Fox or Sabonis for the rest of the season. Davion Mitchell in play for tournaments. He has shot awful over the last couple games, but he's still going to play about 40 minutes. He's still going to be a relatively high usage player. Damian Jones came back down to earth after back-to-back 50 bombs. Would expect him to continue to play over 30 minutes, though, which makes him viable. This grouping like Barnes, DiVincenzo, and Lyles all look pretty similar. Value, I don't know if there's anything that stands out. Metu's price is up. I'm not playing Justin Holiday. Don't care that he played more. I'm not playing Justin Holiday. And yeah, Jackson's better in the rotation, but not playing enough for me to consider him. Finally, the Lakers and the Suns. Keep an eye on the Lakers. LeBron, AD, both questionable. AD played last game, so I would expect AD to play. LeBron, I think, more 50-50. So if LeBron misses and Anthony Davis plays, I think Anthony Davis looks great. Mentioned on the stream yesterday, the Winter Tilt stream, that I like the Anthony Davis over fantasy points. That easily hit, so that was nice to see. Again, with LeBron out of that, he was only at like 48 fantasy points. It was too low. But yeah, Anthony Davis, if LeBron's out, I think it looks really, really solid there at 9K. And then you can consider the likes like Westbrook and Monk if LeBron is out. If LeBron is in, it's really just LeBron and AD I think I would consider. Dwight Howard has been starting last couple games. I guess if he continues to start, you can use him. But I think this is a game where they don't necessarily need Dwight against Ayton. Like, they can just go AD at the 5. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on Lakers news. But if they're both in, both the main guys are in, it's LeBron and AD. If they're both out, then we start looking to like Monk and Melo and Westbrook and Dwight Howard, right? So we'll keep an eye on that one. And finally, the Phoenix Suns. So it looks like everyone's off the injury report. I was a little bit surprised again. Why did Chris Paul play that last game? Why didn't he just, I don't know, beats me. But great matchup here. So Paul, Booker, Ayton, I think the big three all in play. Paul probably your safest bet, going to have the ball in his hands a ton. Booker probably has the highest ceiling, a little bit riskier though with Paul back in the rotation. And then DeAndre Ayton, 7-1, should be able to feast against his front court, but the minutes haven't really been great on him. Usually he's capped around low 30s minutes. Don't think I get to any of the wings. McGee's price is up, so I don't think we have to go there either at 4-2. But yeah, guys, so that will wrap it up for the video. There is a mega millionaire on DraftKings as well, so good luck to anyone playing that one. It's a $3,000 entry, but again, really appreciate everyone's support as always. If you do enjoy, just make sure to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff, and I will see everyone in the next video.